Hi, everyone. Welcome to English Today Journey. I'm so glad you're here. Don't forget to subscribe so you can get new English tips every day. Today, we're going to talk about something really important, how to organize your life. I know that sounds big and maybe even a little scary, but don't worry. We'll go step by step, slowly, so it's easy to understand. Let me be honest with you. I haven't always been an organized person. When I was in my early 20s, I often felt completely lost. Life just seemed to happen to me instead of me being in control. I was always behind, always reacting to things instead of planning for them. I forgot things a lot and felt like I could never catch up. Back then, I thought being organized was just about having a clean desk, writing long to-do lists, or keeping a color-coded calendar. Those things can help, of course, but I learned later that being truly organized is much more than that. Real organization is about creating space. Space in your day, space in your mind, and space in your heart. It's about living in a way that feels calm, focused, and meaningful instead of rushed, messy, or stressful. Think about it. When your life feels messy or chaotic, it's hard to focus on anything. Even when something good happens, it can be difficult to enjoy it fully because your mind is always thinking about what you forgot or what you still have to do. That constant thinking, worrying, and planning can make you feel tired, distracted, and disconnected from yourself. But here's the good part. When you start to bring a little order into your life, things begin to change. You start to feel lighter and calmer. You feel more in control. It's like you are steering your own ship again instead of being carried away by waves of chaos. Even small changes, like making a simple schedule or setting small priorities, can make a big difference in how you feel and how your day goes. Organizing your life doesn't mean you have to be perfect or that everything must be done exactly right. It's about making choices that give you more freedom, more clarity, and more peace. It's about deciding what really matters and letting go of the rest. When you do this, you can start enjoying life more. You can focus on the things you love. You can feel proud of yourself for managing your day instead of letting it manage you. So, if you've ever felt like life is just happening to you, remember this. Organization isn't about a spotless desk or fancy planners. It's about creating space for yourself, your thoughts, and your dreams. It's about taking small steps to feel more in control, calmer, and happier. And the best part? You can start today. Even one small change can make a difference. Just begin and keep going little by little every day. When you do this, you can ask yourself some honest questions. Am I using my energy on things that move me closer to the life I really want? Or am I always busy, always rushing, but not actually moving forward? Being busy does not always mean you are making progress. Sometimes it just means you are tired. Organizing your life is about making conscious choices. Instead of reacting to everything that happens around you, you choose how to respond. You decide what deserves your attention and what does not. It is about living with intention instead of living only by habits or routines that no longer serve you. One very important thing to remember is this. Forget about perfection. This is one of the biggest mistakes people make. Many people believe that being organized means being perfect. They think every drawer must look perfect, every goal must be clearly written, and every task must be completed exactly on time. But this idea is not realistic. The truth is, perfection does not exist. Even the most organized people forget things sometimes. They miss appointments. They have stressful days. They feel overwhelmed, too. The difference is not that their lives are perfect. The difference is that they have simple habits and systems that help them get back on track when things go wrong. Trying to be perfect often stops people from starting at all. Maybe you have told yourself something like, I will organize my life when I have more time. Or, I will start when I find the perfect system. But here is the real secret. If you keep waiting for the perfect moment, you may end up waiting forever. Organizing your life is not about controlling everything. It is about creating enough structure so your life feels calmer and more meaningful, even when things are not perfect. Organizing your life is really about building a life that supports you, even when things do not go as planned. Life will always be a little messy. Problems will appear. Plans will change. Being organized does not mean removing all chaos from your life. That is impossible. Instead, it means not letting that chaos control you or overwhelm you. It is important to understand that organizing your life looks different for everyone.
We are all unique.
We have different personalities, daily routines, energy levels, responsibilities, and challenges. Because of this, there is no single system that works for everyone. What works perfectly for one person might feel stressful or uncomfortable for another. For example, someone who loves structure may enjoy planning every hour of their day with detailed lists. But a more spontaneous person might feel trapped or frustrated by that same routine. A parent with young children will organize their time very differently from a university student or someone working 2 jobs.
Different lives need different systems.
That is why organizing your life is not about copying someone else's routine or following what you see online. It is not about doing what looks perfect on social media. It is about discovering what works best for you and your real life. Maybe you need structure in the morning so you can start your day feeling calm and focused. Or maybe your mind works better in the evening, and that is when you feel most productive. Maybe you love writing things down in a notebook and crossing tasks off with a pen. Or maybe using an app helps you stay on track. Some people think best in complete silence, while others get their best ideas while walking or listening to music. All of these preferences are important. They are part of learning who you are. That is why organizing your life always starts with self-awareness. You need to understand yourself before you can build a system that truly supports you. Instead of following every new productivity trend, take time to ask yourself some honest questions. What makes me feel calm and focused? What drains my energy? When do I feel most alive, creative, or productive? When you understand these things, you can create a way of living that fits you, not someone else's idea of success. Another very important part of organizing your life is understanding your values. Your values guide your choices, even if you do not always realize it. They influence how you spend your time, where you put your energy, and what you say yes or no to. If your values are not clear, life can feel confusing and stressful. You may feel busy all the time, but still feel empty or unsatisfied. But when you organize your life around what truly matters to you, things start to feel more meaningful. Your schedule begins to reflect who you are and what you care about. Organizing your life is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters most to you. When your systems support your values, your life feels calmer, more balanced, and more true to yourself. For example, if family is one of your most important values, you may choose to spend more time with the people you love. This might mean saying no to extra work, social events, or other activities that take time away from them. And that is okay. When your choices match your values, you feel more at peace with your decisions. If you value creativity, you may need to leave some open space in your day. You might need quiet time to think, reflect, write, draw, or work on creative projects. A schedule that is too full can block creativity. Giving yourself space is not wasting time. It is supporting what matters to you. If you value growth, you may decide to set aside time each week to learn something new. This could mean reading a book, practicing a skill, studying, or working on self-improvement. Small, regular efforts can help you grow over time. When you do not know your values, it is very easy to stay busy but still feel empty inside. Your calendar can be full, your days can be packed, and yet you may feel unsatisfied or lost. That is why it is important to ask yourself some honest questions. What truly matters to me? Where do I want my time and energy to go? When your daily choices match your values, life begins to feel calmer, more meaningful, and more fulfilling. Another important part of organizing your life is mental clarity. Organization is not only about the outside world. Sometimes, the messiest place is your own mind. You can have a clean home, a perfect planner, and a well-organized schedule, but still feel overwhelmed if your thoughts are scattered and nonstop. That is why mental organization is just as important as physical organization. Taking time to rest, reflect, and reset your mind helps you feel balanced. This does not need to be complicated. It could be journaling for 5 minutes a day, sitting quietly and breathing deeply, meditating, or going for a short walk. Even small moments of calm can make a big difference. When your mind is clearer, it becomes easier to make good decisions. You can focus better. You can see what truly matters instead of reacting to everything at once. A calm mind helps you live with more purpose and less stress. Many people feel like life is simply too much. Too many thoughts. Too many decisions. Too many responsibilities. Our minds feel crowded, our schedules feel full, and it seems like we are always running from one thing to the next without ever truly resting. That is why organizing your life is not only about cleaning your space or managing your time. It is also about calming your mind. When you begin to organize your life, you also begin to clear away mental noise. You learn how to slow down, how to focus, and how to give your thoughts some breathing room. This might mean writing your thoughts down so they are not stuck in your head. It might mean turning off distractions for a short time. Or it might simply mean giving yourself permission to pause. When your mind has space, you can think more clearly, feel more grounded, and move through life with greater calm and confidence. Organizing your life also means giving your mind time to rest. This could be writing in a journal for a few minutes every day, sitting quietly and meditating, or even just turning off your phone for an hour and taking deep breaths. Remember, you are not a machine. You are a human being. Your brain needs rest, space, and order just like the rest of you. Without that, life can feel overwhelming, no matter how clean your room is or how many to-do lists you have. So keep in mind, organizing your life is not about looking perfect on the outside. It is about feeling calm, clear, and peaceful on the inside. It is something you practice over time. It is a lifelong habit, not a one-time project. You do not organize your life once and then cross it off a list. Instead, it is like checking your compass on a long journey. Life changes, and so do we. What felt balanced 6 months ago may not work today, and that is completely normal. There is no need to feel frustrated. The goal is not to finish organizing your life perfectly. The goal is to keep learning, growing, and adjusting as you go. This means regularly checking in with yourself. Ask, does this still work for me? Does this routine help me move forward? Your life is not static, so your systems should not be either. Organizing your life is about becoming more of yourself, not becoming someone else. It is about reducing stress, creating more peace, and finding a clearer path forward in your life. The first step in this journey is self-awareness. Before you can organize your life, you need to understand what your life actually looks like right now. This might sound simple, but it is the step most people skip. Many people rush straight into action. They buy planners, create long to-do lists, download productivity apps, or watch endless videos about time management. But they forget the most important step, pausing to see what is really happening in their life. Ask yourself, where is my time really going? Where is my energy going? What is working well and what is not? Being honest about these questions is essential. Without understanding your current situation, any organization system you try to follow will be temporary or frustrating. Take a moment to reflect. Think about your last week. Can you remember how you spent your time? How much of it was productive or meaningful, and how much was wasted or stressful? Noticing these patterns is the beginning of real change. This self-awareness gives you the foundation to make smarter choices. Once you know what is really happening in your life, you can start making small adjustments that lead to bigger results over time. Remember, organizing your life is not about doing everything at once. It is about taking small, intentional steps, checking in with yourself regularly, and creating systems that support the life you truly want. When you begin this way, life starts to feel calmer, more balanced, and more under your control. It is about progress, not perfection, and about becoming the best version of yourself, one step at a time. Take a moment to think about how you spend your days. Where do you spend most of your time? What do you do after work, after school, or after your main responsibilities are finished? How often do you feel calm, focused, and productive? And how often do you feel rushed, distracted, or exhausted? These questions are not meant to make you feel guilty. They are meant to help you notice your patterns. Awareness is the first step to change. If you do not know where your time and energy are going, how can you ever shift them to better things? A simple way to start is to write a timeline of your day.
It doesn't need to be fancy.
Just make an honest list of what you do and when. Did you spend 30 minutes scrolling on your phone this morning before getting out of bed? Did you work long hours without taking a single break? Do you often say yes to things you do not really want to do? Writing down your habits helps you see what is helping you and what is holding you back. Maybe your mornings are calm and productive, but your evenings feel chaotic. Maybe you are doing well at work or school, but your personal life feels unbalanced. Maybe you are trying to do everything at once, and by the end of the day, you feel tired, frustrated, or disappointed. This is why self-awareness is so powerful. It gives you the clarity to see the truth about your own life. But here's the key. Self-awareness is not about judging yourself or feeling bad about your habits. It is about observing with honesty and kindness. Think of it like checking a map before a trip. If you do not know where you are right now, how will you know which direction to go next? When you start noticing your life, your habits, your thoughts, and how you spend your time, you finally have the information you need to make real changes. True organization does not begin with a fancy planner, a new app, or a perfectly structured schedule. It begins with understanding yourself, understanding your energy, your focus, and how your day really flows. Another important part of self-awareness is learning to understand your energy levels, not just your time. Time is one resource, but energy is just as important. You can technically have hours in your day, but if your energy is low, it is difficult to focus, be productive, or enjoy life. Some people are more alert and creative in the morning, while others do their best thinking in the evening. Some people need short breaks during work to recharge, while others work best in long focus blocks. Noticing these patterns helps you plan your day in a way that works for you, instead of trying to force yourself into someone else's schedule. Self-awareness is not a one-time exercise. It is something you practice again and again. By observing your habits, your thoughts, your energy, and your patterns without judgment, you build the foundation for a life that is organized, intentional, and balanced. This is where true change begins, slowly, steadily, and in a way that actually fits your life. Most of us think about productivity in terms of hours. We ask ourselves, how much can I do in one day? How many tasks can I finish? But the truth is, not all hours are the same. You have probably noticed this yourself. There are times when your day feels long and stressful, and even a simple email seems impossible to write. Other times, everything flows naturally. Ideas come easily, you feel focused, and tasks seem simple. This difference is not about how much time you have. It is about your energy, focus, and emotional state. That is why it is important to stop asking only, how do I spend my time? Instead, ask questions like, when do I feel most focused? What activities give me energy and what drains it? Paying attention to these details can make a big difference in how you organize your day. For example, if you notice that your energy is highest in the morning, you can schedule your most important tasks then. If you feel drained after long meetings, you could add a short walk, a break, or some quiet time to reset. When you understand your own energy patterns, you stop fighting against yourself. You begin to work with your natural rhythm instead of pushing through exhaustion. This allows you to focus on what truly matters and to feel better while doing it. Now, let's go a little deeper. One of the most important parts of organizing your life is understanding your values, the things you truly care about. Most of us can name a few: family, health, creativity, freedom, learning, or personal growth. But here is the problem. Sometimes the way we live doesn't match what we say we value. For example, we might say we value our health, but we do not get enough sleep. We might say we want peace, but we overfill our calendars with meetings, social events, or tasks that create stress. We might say we care about relationships, but we are too busy to spend time with the people we love. This creates a gap, a difference between what we say we want and how we actually live. That gap often shows up as stress, guilt, frustration, or confusion. You may feel like you are doing many things but never really getting anywhere. That is why it is so important to be honest with yourself and ask, what do I truly value? What really matters to me? When your life starts to align with your values, your daily choices feel easier. Your energy feels better. Your focus improves, and you feel calmer and more fulfilled. You begin to notice that organization is not just about schedules, planners, or apps. It is about living in a way that reflects your values, your energy, and what you truly care about. By paying attention to your energy and your values, you start to build a life that feels natural, balanced, and meaningful. You stop just going through the motions and start living intentionally. This is the heart of true organization. Not perfection, not doing more, but making your life work for you. Ask yourself an important question. What kind of life do I want to build? You do not need to have all the perfect answers right now. Even a few small reflections can bring a lot of clarity. You can start with what matters most to you and let that guide your choices. For example, if you value creativity, make time in your week to write, paint, design, or just think freely. Give yourself space to create without pressure. If you value connection, spend more time with people who make you feel supported, understood, and happy. If you value growth, set aside quiet time to learn something new, practice a skill, or reflect on how you are improving. When your daily actions match your values, life starts to feel more organized, not because everything is perfect, but because everything has purpose. Another important idea is defining success for yourself. Many people feel lost or unfulfilled, even if on paper they have done everything right. They followed the rules, earned a degree, got a good job, checked all the boxes, and yet something still feels missing. That happens when you are living someone else's version of success. Self-awareness is the key to knowing what success means for you. It helps you make better choices, say no to the things that do not fit, and say yes to the things that truly matter. That is one of the most powerful parts of feeling organized. Being organized is not just about your schedule, your tasks, or your space. It is also about having your heart and mind in the right place. The best part is that self-awareness does not need any fancy tools, apps, or systems. You do not need a perfect planner or a detailed checklist. All it requires is your attention. Even 5 minutes a day of honest reflection can make a difference. You can write in a journal, talk to a friend, take a quiet walk, or simply sit and notice how you feel. There is no single right way to do it. What matters most is that you start noticing your life. Notice what feels light and good, what feels heavy or stressful, and what feels missing. Before rushing to change everything, pause for a moment.
Take a deep breath.
Look around and ask yourself, where am I right now?
What is working for me?
What needs to change? What do I want to feel more of in my life? These questions help you understand your current situation, your habits, your energy, and your priorities. This process of noticing and reflecting gives you a foundation for real, lasting change. Instead of trying to copy someone else's routines, systems, or ideas of success, you're creating a life that fits you. You begin to act with intention, instead of reacting to everything around you. Your daily actions start to feel meaningful, and even small choices bring a sense of calm and order. Remember, organizing your life is a journey, not a one-time project. Start with self-awareness, understanding your values, and noticing your current patterns. When you do this, you create a life that feels purposeful, balanced, and aligned with what truly matters to you. Even small steps in this direction can lead to big changes over time, helping you feel calmer, more focused, and more in control of your life. Ask yourself another question. What do I want to feel more of, and what do I want to feel less of? This isn't about becoming someone completely different. It is about reconnecting with yourself, the real you, and starting to create a life that actually fits who you are. You do not need to copy anyone else or meet anyone else's expectations. The goal is to design your own life so it works for you, not for someone else. One of the biggest lessons I have learned about organizing your life is this: you cannot rely on motivation alone. Motivation is wonderful when it is there. It gives you energy, excitement, and focus. But the truth is, motivation comes and goes. It is unpredictable. Some days you wake up feeling ready to take on the world. You are focused, motivated, and full of energy. Other days, you might just want to stay in bed, hide under the blanket, and forget about responsibilities for a while. That is completely normal. Everyone has those days. The mistake many people make is waiting to feel motivated before starting something important. They say to themselves, "I'll start when I feel ready. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll wait until I have more energy." But if you wait for motivation to appear, you might be waiting forever. Motivation cannot be relied on because it is unpredictable. So, what is the solution? How can you keep moving forward even when you do not feel motivated? The answer is something more stable and reliable than motivation: systems. Systems are small, repeatable actions or routines that keep you on track, even when you are tired, distracted, or not inspired. A system does not wait for motivation. It works every day, whether you feel like it or not. When you have a good system, you do not have to decide what to do each day. The system decides for you. It acts like a clear path in your life, guiding you forward even when everything around you feels chaotic or confusing. Over time, these systems turn into habits. Habits are actions that become automatic because you do them consistently. For example, if you have a habit of writing for 10 minutes every morning, you do not need to wait for inspiration.
You just sit down and write.
The system makes it easier to act, even on days when motivation is low. Small systems work quietly, without pressure, helping you make progress every day. The key is to start small. You do not need to build huge routines or completely redesign your life at once. Start with little actions you can repeat consistently. It could be journaling for 5 minutes each morning, doing one small task at the same time every day, or taking a short walk after lunch to clear your mind. Small systems build momentum. They give you structure, stability, and confidence, even when life feels messy. The real power of small systems is that they make progress inevitable. Even if you do not feel motivated, the system keeps you moving. Even on tough days, you can follow your path. And over time, these small, consistent actions create big changes in your life. You begin to feel more organized, calmer, and in control, not because you are perfect, but because you are consistently moving forward in a way that fits you and your life. Over time, small systems turn into habits, and those habits slowly become part of who you are. A simple example of this is a morning routine. Many successful and balanced people talk about their morning routines for a reason. How you start your day often sets the tone for everything that follows. Now, I am not saying you need to wake up at 5 a.m., drink green juice, or meditate for an hour. That might work for some people, but not for everyone. What really matters is having some structure that helps you begin your day with intention. Your morning routine could be as simple as making your bed, stretching for 5 minutes, writing a short to-do list, or just drinking a glass of water and sitting quietly before checking your phone. These small actions tell your brain, the day is starting. Once these actions become a habit, you don't even have to think about them. You just do them naturally, and they guide your day. Another powerful system is weekly planning. For example, you could spend 15 to 20 minutes every Sunday evening looking at the week ahead. Ask yourself, what meetings, deadlines, or appointments are coming up? What are my top 3 priorities for the week? This simple check-in helps you prepare mentally, avoid surprises, and reduce stress. Even though it's a small habit, It creates a huge sense of calm and control. This brings us to an important idea. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. Doing a small action every day is almost always more effective than doing a big action once in a while. For instance, journaling for 5 minutes every night is far more helpful than writing for an hour once a month. Exercising for 15 minutes 3 times a week is better than spending 2 hours at the gym once and never going back. Planning your week for 15 minutes every Sunday works better than trying to organize everything all at once during the month. Small, consistent actions build momentum, and momentum creates long-term results. The key is to make your systems manageable and realistic. If a habit feels too big or complicated, you are less likely to do it consistently. Start with tiny steps. For example, instead of planning your whole week in 1 hour, start with just writing down the top 3 tasks for the next day. Instead of committing to exercise for an hour every morning, start with 5 minutes of stretching or a short walk. Small steps are easier to maintain, and over time, they grow into lasting habits. Another important part of building systems is flexibility. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes your plan will not go perfectly. That is okay. Systems are not meant to trap you, they are meant to guide you. If something unexpected comes up, adjust, adapt, and keep moving. Even a disrupted routine can still give you structure if you focus on doing something rather than nothing. The combination of small, consistent actions, simple routines, and realistic planning creates a sense of control and calm. You start each day with intention, your week flows more smoothly, and over time, your habits become automatic. You are no longer relying on motivation alone, and you are no longer waiting to feel inspired. Instead, your systems carry you forward, even when life feels messy, and you slowly build a life that is organized, purposeful, and aligned with what truly matters to you. True change doesn't happen by fixing everything at once after life feels chaotic. Instead, it comes from small, regular actions done consistently. In today's world, we often celebrate big results, fast progress, huge goals, and dramatic transformations. But behind every success story, there are usually tiny daily steps that build up over time. Systems and habits may not feel exciting or impressive, but they work quietly. They give you structure when you're tired, keep you steady when life gets messy, and help you stay connected to your goals, not through force, but through rhythm and repetition. If you want to get organized, start by asking yourself, what small systems can I build into my day? Here are a few simple examples. The 25-minute focus timer. Work for 25 minutes without distractions, then take a 5-minute break. This helps you focus without feeling overwhelmed. End-of-day reflection. Before bed, write down your top 3 priorities for tomorrow. This makes your morning calmer and your goals clearer. Weekly meal prep. Spend a short time each weekend planning your meals. This keeps your week less stressful and helps you feel in control. These small systems may seem simple, but together they create a strong foundation. They make your life smoother, lighter, and more intentional. The key is to start small. You don't need to build every system at once. Choose 1 or 2 habits that matter most right now. Focus on building consistency first, then add more later. That's how good intentions become lasting change. You also don't need a system for everything in your life. Trying to create complicated routines for every area will only make things more stressful. Instead, pick one area that feels messy or out of control and start there. Maybe your mornings always feel rushed. Maybe your desk is full of papers, or you feel like you never have time to study, exercise, or relax. Focus on that one area first, fix it gradually, and then move to the next. There's a quote I really like. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. This means that achieving your goals is not about willpower or motivation alone. It's about the daily habits, routines, and small actions you put in place. Your goals are the destination, but your systems are the road that actually takes you there. Even small improvements every day add up over time. Remember, the goal is not perfection. The goal is steady progress. Life will always have chaos, interruptions, and challenges, but having simple systems keeps you moving forward. It gives you a sense of calm and control, even when things don't go as planned. And over time, these small, consistent actions become habits that shape your life naturally, helping you feel organized, focused, and more in control. The most important thing is to start. Choose one small system today.
Keep it simple.
Keep it consistent. Let it guide you forward. Step by step, you can build a life that feels intentional, balanced, and fully yours, even in a busy, unpredictable world. There's a quote I really like. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. This means that goals are important. They show you where you want to go. But your systems are what actually help you get there. Goals alone are just ideas. You need practical, repeatable steps, systems, that guide your actions every day. Let's take a simple example. Imagine your goal is to speak better English. That's a wonderful goal, but by itself, it's too big and too vague. You can't just say, I want to speak better English, and hope it happens. You need a system that supports it. For instance, your system could be, listen to this podcast 3 times a week, review new words after each episode, and practice speaking with a friend once a week. That's it. Simple and clear. The beauty of small, realistic systems is that you don't need to feel motivated every day. Motivation comes and goes, but your system keeps you moving forward even on days you don't feel like it. When these routines are simple and easy to repeat, they stop feeling like extra work and start to feel like a natural part of your day, just like brushing your teeth or making coffee. Over time, these little habits become part of who you are. They save energy, reduce stress, and make your life smoother, not just for a week, but consistently over months and years. So, if you feel overwhelmed, don't search for the perfect planner, the newest app, or the ultimate productivity hack. Start smaller. Pick one small system that fits your life. Stick with it. Trust that those quiet, consistent steps are shaping your life, one day at a time. But building systems alone is not enough. One of the most important things to consider is your mindset. Organizing your life is not just about tools or routines, it's also about the thoughts, beliefs, and stories you tell yourself. Even the best system won't work if your mind is full of doubt or fear. You know that little voice in your head that says, what if I mess up? What if I'm not good enough? If it's not perfect, I shouldn't even try? That voice can stop you before you even start. Changing your mindset is just as important as building systems. You need to remind yourself that imperfection is okay, that progress matters more than perfection, and that taking small steps is better than waiting to feel ready. You don't have to be perfect to move forward. You just need to start. Every small action you take, even on a day you feel unmotivated, is a win. Systems help you act consistently, but mindset keeps you from giving up. Together, they create a strong foundation for growth. Systems give structure, routines, and clarity. Mindset gives confidence, resilience, and self-compassion. Combine the two, and suddenly organizing your life doesn't feel impossible. It feels manageable. It feels like a series of small, doable steps that gradually lead you to the life you want. Remember, small systems plus the right mindset equals real change. You don't need to do everything at once. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start with one small system, trust the process, and be kind to yourself along the way. Over time, those small habits, repeated daily, transform your life. They make your days calmer, your goals closer, and your life more organized, not because everything is perfect, but because you are moving forward intentionally, consistently, and steadily. That little voice in your head, the one that says, I'm not ready yet, or it has to be perfect, has a name. It's called perfectionism. Perfectionism is sneaky. It convinces you to set standards so high that you feel stuck before you even start. You tell yourself, I'll begin when I'm ready. I'll try after I study more. I'll do it once everything is perfect. But here's the truth. Waiting for perfect is like waiting for a train that never comes. You stand on the platform, watching other people move forward, while you stay in the same spot. I know this feeling because I've been there too. Here's my story. When I first decided to learn English seriously, I felt nervous and unsure. I thought I had to speak perfectly before I could talk to anyone. So, I spent months studying grammar and vocabulary on my own. I read books, watched videos, took notes, but I never actually spoke to anyone.
Why?
Because I was afraid of making mistakes. I kept telling myself, I'm not ready yet. But the more I waited, the harder it became to start. It felt like climbing a mountain that kept growing taller every day. Then I realized something that completely changed my mindset. Done is better than perfect. What does that really mean? It means it's better to take action, even imperfectly, than to do nothing at all because you're afraid of failing. For example, it's better to speak one simple sentence in English, even if you make mistakes, than to stay silent, waiting for the perfect moment. It's better to clean one small corner of your room than to wait until you have the time, energy, and perfect conditions to clean everything. It's better to start, even if it's messy, small, or awkward. Because action creates momentum, and momentum leads to real progress. Choosing done over perfect also gives you permission to learn and grow. Mistakes are not failures. They're part of the process. Every small step teaches you something new. Every tiny action moves you forward. You start to see that learning, improving, and achieving goals doesn't come from waiting for the perfect time or perfect conditions. It comes from showing up consistently, even when it's hard or imperfect. This mindset applies to every area of life. Maybe you want to organize your room, start a new hobby, or build a study routine. If you wait for the perfect moment, you'll never begin. But if you start small, even with imperfect steps, you build momentum. Slowly, your actions add up. Your habits grow. And before you know it, progress happens naturally. The key lesson is simple. Start now, even if it's messy. Take small steps, keep moving forward, and let done be better than perfect. That's how real growth happens, how systems work, and how your life slowly becomes more organized, intentional, and aligned with what you truly want. Momentum matters more than perfection. Progress matters more than fear. Confidence comes from taking action, not waiting for perfection. That's where growth begins. So, next time you catch yourself waiting for the perfect moment, remember this. You don't need perfect. You just need to start. A lot of people struggle with self-doubt, fear of failure, and perfectionism, and often they come together. They whisper in your mind, what if I fail?
What if people judge me?
What if I'm not good enough? If you've ever felt that way, you're not alone. Everyone feels it, even the people who seem confident. Those fears are completely normal. They are part of being human. The goal isn't to make them disappear. The goal is to stop letting them control your choices. Here's an important idea. Failure is not the enemy. In fact, failure is part of success. Every mistake, every uncomfortable moment, every time something doesn't go as planned, is a chance to learn. Each mistake teaches you something. It shows you what doesn't work, so you can find what does. It helps you grow stronger, more patient, and better prepared for the next step. Think about it this way. If you never fail, it probably means you're not taking enough risks or trying things that truly matter to you. People who succeed aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who keep going even after failing. They learn from their mistakes and use them to improve. The first step to handling fear and self-doubt is awareness. These thoughts, fear, doubt, perfectionism, often live inside us for years. They become habits, so normal that we don't even notice them anymore. That's why noticing them is so powerful. The moment you hear that voice in your head saying, "You're not ready," or "You'll mess this up," pause. Don't get angry. Don't criticize yourself. Instead, just observe. Say, there's that thought again. Seeing it for what it is, a thought, not a fact, gives you space to make a conscious choice. You can decide, I may feel this fear, but I will act anyway. You don't have to wait for courage to appear magically. Courage grows from doing the thing you're afraid of. Another helpful mindset shift is to reframe mistakes. Stop seeing mistakes as evidence that you're failing. See them as lessons. Every time something doesn't go perfectly, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I do it better next time? When you make this a habit, fear and self-doubt lose their power. They stop controlling your actions. Finally, remember this. You don't need to be perfect to start, and you don't need to have all the answers. Start small, take one step at a time, and give yourself permission to learn along the way. That's how confidence grows, how progress happens, and how your life slowly becomes more organized, intentional, and meaningful. The key is to act, even when it's messy, even when it's uncomfortable. Momentum comes from starting, not waiting. Instead of beating yourself up when fear shows up, try something different. Gently say to yourself, here's that fear again. That's okay. I can still try. Just noticing your fear with kindness can make a big difference. It breaks the habit of harsh self-criticism and helps you move forward with calm and confidence. Progress doesn't need to be huge or fast. Even small steps matter. Start small and build your confidence slowly. I remember when I finally decided to start speaking English with a friend. I was terrified. I forgot words, mixed up grammar, and stumbled over simple sentences. It felt embarrassing at first, but each time I tried, it got a little easier. Every small step made me feel braver. Over time, the fear started to fade. It didn't happen overnight, but it happened because I kept showing up, even when it was hard. So if you've ever been afraid to start something because you might fail, remember, you are not alone. Ask yourself, what is really stopping me? Is it fear of failure? Perfectionism? Self-doubt? Once you notice these feelings, challenge them with gentle honesty. Remind yourself, done is better than perfect. Every expert was once a beginner. Mistakes aren't failures, they're lessons. Action is the key to progress. When you shift from fear and perfectionism to action and self-kindness, you unlock real growth. This doesn't just help you organize your life, it changes how you live it. Because no matter how many planners, apps, or systems you use, they won't help if your mind keeps saying, I can't. But when you begin to say, I will try, I will learn, everything opens up. Your confidence grows, your habits improve, and your life starts feeling more under your control. Take a moment to reflect. What thoughts or beliefs are holding you back? How can you be a little kinder to yourself right now? You don't need perfection. You just need courage to start, patience to keep going, and kindness toward yourself when things go wrong. This is also true for organizing your space and your mind. Organizing your life doesn't only mean cleaning your room, arranging your desk, or writing long to-do lists. It also means clearing mental clutter. Your thoughts, worries, and fears can pile up just like papers on a desk. When your mind feels crowded, it's hard to focus, make decisions, or enjoy life. That's why small habits that calm your mind are just as important as habits that organize your schedule. Simple routines can help. Taking a short walk, journaling for a few minutes, meditating, or just turning off your phone for an hour can give your brain space to rest and reset. When your mind is calmer, your choices are clearer, your energy improves, and your day feels lighter. Just like tidying a messy desk, small steps to calm your mind can make a huge difference. So remember, organizing your life is not about being perfect. It's about taking small steps every day, being brave enough to make mistakes, and being kind enough to yourself to keep going. Start small, show up consistently, and watch how your confidence, habits, and peace of mind grow over time. When people hear organize your life, they usually think about cleaning their room, tidying up their desk, or sorting through old papers. And yes, that helps. A neat, clean space can make it easier to think and focus. But organizing your life is not just about putting things into boxes or making everything look perfect. It's also about decluttering your mind, clearing out thoughts, worries, and distractions that take up space in your head. Both kinds of clutter, physical and mental, can make you feel tired, stressed, or overwhelmed, even if you don't notice it at first. Let's start with your physical space. Take a look at your room or workspace. Is it messy or organized? Are there piles of clothes, books, or papers lying around? How about your phone? Are there apps you never use or notifications constantly popping up? Every object you see takes a little bit of your brain's energy. Too much stuff makes your mind work harder to focus. That's why cleaning up can actually make you feel calmer and more in control. Your brain doesn't have to fight through all the visual noise, so you can think more clearly and feel less stressed. Now, let's talk about your mental space. Have you ever tried to read a book in a noisy, crowded cafe? You can still read, but it's hard to focus because your attention keeps getting pulled away. That's what clutter does to your mind. Messy surroundings or scattered thoughts make it harder for your brain to focus on one thing at a time. Organizing your life is partly about clearing that mental clutter, so your mind has room to breathe, reflect, and make better decisions. Decluttering doesn't have to be a huge, stressful project. You don't need to spend an entire weekend cleaning or buy fancy storage boxes. Often, small changes make the biggest difference. For example, you could clear your desk at the end of each day. You might organize your books or put clothes in the laundry basket right away instead of leaving them on the floor. Even taking 5 minutes to clean one small area can help your brain feel calmer and more focused. You can also organize your digital space. Delete apps you never use, clean up your home screen, or organize your files on your computer. Small changes like these reduce distractions and make it easier to get work done or relax without feeling overwhelmed. Decluttering your mind works the same way. You don't need to solve all your problems at once or stop thinking about everything that's on your mind. You can start small. Try spending 5 minutes journaling each day, writing down your thoughts so you're not carrying them all in your head. Take a short walk and focus only on what you see and hear around you. Even just turning off your phone for an hour can give your mind the space to rest and reset. When you combine a tidy physical space with a calmer, clearer mind, your whole life feels lighter. You feel more focused, more relaxed, and more in control. Organizing your life is not about perfection. It's about creating a space, both outside and inside your head, where you can think clearly, make good choices, and feel peaceful. Small, regular actions like tidying up a desk, journaling for 5 minutes, or taking a mindful walk can make a huge difference over time. Remember, organizing your life is a practice, not a one-time task. Each small step adds up. Your room, your desk, your digital space, and your thoughts all work together to give you a sense of calm and clarity. Start small. Take it one step at a time, and notice how your life slowly begins to feel lighter, simpler, and more under your control. When you wake up in the morning and see a clean, open space, it can set a peaceful tone for your whole day. Even small actions, like deleting a few apps you don't use, can make a big difference. Your phone screen suddenly feels lighter and calmer, almost like taking a deep breath after being stuck indoors all day. Organizing your digital space is just as important as tidying your room. Think about it. Many of us have hundreds of unread emails, messy folders, and random screenshots saved for later. These tiny bits of clutter quietly add up, making your mind feel crowded and stressed. Spending just 10 minutes cleaning your inbox, renaming files, or creating a few simple folders can bring a surprising sense of relief. It's not just about being neat. It's about feeling clear, calm, and in control. Now, let's talk about mental clutter. Your mind is like a computer. It stores memories, plans, worries, and ideas, sometimes all at once. When it's overloaded, it becomes harder to focus, think clearly, or stay calm. Mental clutter can show up as racing thoughts, endless what-ifs, or the constant feeling that you're forgetting something. You may feel restless, anxious, or tired without knowing exactly why. It doesn't mean your life is falling apart. It just means your mind needs space. One simple way to clear mental clutter is to do a digital detox. That means taking a break from screens, social media, and constant notifications. Phones and computers keep us connected, but they also constantly demand our attention. Every ping, message, or scroll takes a little bit of your mental energy. Even a short break, like an hour without checking your phone or an afternoon away from social media, can give your mind a chance to rest and reset. You may be surprised at how quiet and refreshing it feels. Another helpful tool is journaling. When your head feels crowded, writing down your thoughts is like opening a window to let fresh air in. You don't need a fancy journal or a lot of time. Just a few minutes a day can make a big difference. Writing down worries, ideas, or even simple tasks helps clear your mind so you can focus on what matters. Similarly, using to-do lists can reduce stress. When everything you need to do is floating in your head, it feels heavy. Putting those tasks on paper frees your mind to focus on one thing at a time. Decluttering your mind can also include small daily habits. Try taking a short walk without your phone, sitting quietly for a few minutes, or practicing deep breathing. Even a little bit of quiet time gives your brain a chance to rest. Over time, these small practices help you feel calmer, more focused, and more in control. When your physical, digital, and mental spaces are organized, your life feels lighter and smoother. You're not striving for perfection, just for clarity and calm. Small, consistent actions like cleaning your desk, deleting unused apps, journaling, or taking a tech break add up over time. They make it easier to focus, reduce stress, and create space to think, reflect, and plan. Remember, organizing your life isn't just about having a tidy room or a perfect schedule. It's about creating space, both outside and inside your mind, so you can breathe, focus, and feel at peace. Start small, keep it simple, and notice how each tiny step slowly makes your life calmer, clearer, and more intentional. Journaling is a simple way to clear your mind. You don't need to write pages and pages. Even just a few sentences about your day, what's worrying you, or what you're grateful for can make a big difference. Writing helps slow down your thoughts. It turns confusion into clarity and makes it easier to focus. If journaling isn't your style, try using to-do lists instead. When you try to keep everything in your head, like remembering to buy groceries, call a friend, or finish a school assignment, your brain stays busy all the time. Writing a list takes that pressure off. You don't have to remember everything because it's written down. Your list doesn't have to be long. Even noting your top 3 tasks for the day can help you feel organized and accomplished. Small lists, done consistently, create a sense of calm. You might wonder why clutter, whether physical or mental, makes us feel tired or stressed, even if we don't notice it at first. Our brains naturally like order and predictability. When our surroundings or thoughts are messy, the brain has to work harder to make sense of everything. That extra effort slowly uses up your energy. Think of it like carrying a heavy backpack all day. At first, you might not notice, but by the end of the day, your shoulders ache and you feel exhausted. That's what clutter does. It drains your energy without you realizing it. Decluttering, both your space and your mind, helps set that heavy backpack down. When you clear your desk, organize your room, or sort your digital files, your environment suddenly feels lighter and calmer. The same goes for your thoughts. Taking a few minutes to write things down, make lists, or simply sit quietly helps your mind rest. You start to think more clearly, make decisions more easily, and handle challenges with less stress. Even tiny habits can make a difference. You could spend just 10 or 15 minutes decluttering one area of your life. It might be your desk, your phone's home screen, your bag, or even your email inbox. That small step alone creates a sense of order. Then, pair it with a simple mental habit. Write a short journal entry, list 3 things you want to focus on tomorrow, or take 5 minutes to sit quietly and breathe. Doing these small things consistently slowly trains your brain to feel calm and organized. Decluttering is not about perfection. You don't need to clean your whole room in a day or organize every email at once. Even small actions matter. The goal is to make your spaces, both physical and mental, easier to manage. This creates freedom and energy for the things that matter most to you. When you start noticing how clutter affects your focus and mood, you become more aware of how to maintain order. Over time, these small, repeated actions build a habit of clarity. So, this week, try the simple challenge. Choose one small area to declutter and spend a few minutes on it each day. Pair it with a short journaling or to-do list habit. You'll feel calmer, more focused, and more in control of your life. Remember, organizing your life isn't about making everything perfect. It's about creating space, outside and inside your mind, so you can breathe, think clearly, and take purposeful action. Small steps repeated consistently are what really make a difference. Try small daily habits to declutter both your mind and your space. You could write a short journal entry at the end of the day, take a brief walk without your phone, or turn off notifications for an hour. Pay attention to how you feel afterward. Does your mind feel lighter? Are you calmer, more focused, or more relaxed? Even small actions like these can make a big difference. Decluttering isn't about perfection. You don't need a spotless room, a flawless schedule, or a picture-perfect life. The goal is to create space, outside and inside yourself, where you can think clearly, breathe easily, and feel more in control. When your space feels calm, your mind often follows. This is one of the most important steps toward organizing your life in a way that actually works for you, not just for a short time, but for the long term. There are many tools and techniques to help you stay organized. Some are simple and old-fashioned, like notebooks or calendars. Others are digital, like apps and online planners. You may have seen systems that promise to transform your productivity overnight. But here's an important truth. There is no single system that works for everyone. What works perfectly for one person might not work at all for you, and that's completely okay. The key is to experiment, stay curious, and find tools that fit your lifestyle, your personality, and your goals. Let's explore a few practical tools and how to use them naturally without forcing yourself. 1. The power of a calendar. A calendar is one of the simplest and most effective tools for staying organized. It doesn't matter if it's a paper calendar, a wall planner, or a digital app. The important thing is that it helps you see your schedule clearly. Write down appointments, deadlines, and important events. By having everything in one place, you reduce stress because you're not trying to remember everything in your head. A calendar also helps you plan your week, prioritize tasks, and avoid surprises. 2. To-do lists. To-do lists are another simple but powerful tool. Write down the tasks you need to accomplish each day. You don't need a long list, just the top 3 or 4 things that matter most. Checking off these small tasks gives you a sense of progress and accomplishment. Over time, these lists help you build focus and consistency. 3. Journaling and reflection. Journaling isn't just for emotions. It's a tool to organize your thoughts. Writing down what's on your mind can help you see problems more clearly, track progress toward goals, and reduce mental clutter. Even a few sentences a day are enough. You can combine journaling with reflection at night, asking yourself, what went well today? What could I improve tomorrow? 4. Small habits and routines. Sometimes tools aren't enough without simple routines. Small, repeatable actions create systems that make life easier. For example, clearing your desk at the end of the day, reviewing your calendar each morning, or prepping your meals on the weekend are small systems that reduce stress and make your life feel smoother. The key is consistency, not intensity. Small actions done every day are more powerful than occasional big efforts. Remember, tools are only useful if they fit your life. You don't need to use every app, buy every planner, or follow every new productivity trend. Start with 1 or 2 tools that feel natural to you, experiment with them, and keep what works. Over time, These small systems add up, making it easier to stay organized, focused, and connected to what truly matters.